welcome to this lesson. Today we're going to be talking word problems and Pythagorean's theorem. This word problem states, Miriam leaves her house and drives 23 miles west, then makes a sharp turn north and continues to drive an additional 9 miles before stopping. In miles, how far away is Miriam from her house? Now I want you to pause the video and try to pick out the important information in this word problem. So as for most math problems, the numbers in units are going to be very important. So we're going to underline 23 miles west and 9 miles north. We're keeping the direction as under important things. It's not so important for the arithmetic of this, but if you're having trouble visualizing this, it's going to help. The final units you want your problem in is important, and what the actual question is asking is very important. You want to make sure you are answering the right thing. So I know I started off this video by stating that we are working with Pythagorean's theorem, but that does not mean that we can just assume it and start using our equation. We kind of have to prove it to ourselves and justify why we are using it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw our directions. So we have north, east, south, and west. So we know that Miriam first drives 23 miles west, and then she drives 9 miles north. Now, doesn't that look like a right angle? Because if you're going west and then sharp turn north, you're going to get a right angle. Now let's refer back to our actual question. We want to know how far away is Miriam from her house? So we know that whenever she drove 23 miles, that was where her house was. She drove 23 miles away from her house, and then 9 miles north, which is where she is now. And we want to find the area from her to her house. So not only do we have a right angle, but we have a right angle triangle where we are attempting to find C. So once again, according to Pythagorean theorem, if we have a right angle triangle, we can label the sides A, B, C. And that means that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So as we established, we are trying to find C, which is the hypotenuse, which means we have to use our two other units for A and B. So we're going to just go ahead and say that 23 squared plus 9 squared is equal to C squared. Once we plug these into our calculators, we will find that 23 squared is 529 and 9 squared is 81. Again, this is equal to C squared. Again, with our calculators, we will use this and we will get 610 equals C squared. Now, make sure not to stop here. Remember, you are not finding C squared, you are finding C. So what does that mean? That means that we have to square root, because once we square root, this square root and the square will cancel out, leaving us with the square root of 610 miles. Remember, we said that our units are very important. That's why we underlined them. Equals C. And if you want to approximate that, that's going to be 24.7 miles. Remember, do not forget your units. And if you want to write this down in proper word problem form, we would say that Miriam is approximately 24.7 miles, or the square root of 610 miles away from her home. All right, and that's how you do word problems using Pythagorean's theorem.